And hello, it is Uptown tonight. Yes, we're having a nice, fine start here. Again, we were by ourselves. Cito is still not feeling the greatest, so he decided probably should stay home and keep all the cooties to himself, which is probably a good idea. It is January 19th. It is getting cold again. God, it warms up. It teases us a little bit, Scott, and then it has to turn back to like, hey, this is reality. You're living in North Dakota. And yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever get used to it. Being from this state and everything, I don't know if I'll ever get used to it.
Why do we live here? It doesn't even make sense.
We got tricked.
We got tricked. The old people say keeps the riffraff out, but we're here, so what the heck's going on? So hello again, and welcome tonight. Basically, the best thing you can do for us right now is like, subscribe, comment. Our subscriptions are at 95. We want to hit that 100. If you can just do that for us tonight, just hit the subscribe button on the old YouTubes. That'd be awesome. Definitely like that. And also, we have Scott. Is it Guttormson?
Guttormson.
My God, I destroyed that.
It is a difficult one. I mean, you should see the original spelling and the year 800. But actually, one person who got it right first try that I was surprised was Gina Powers.
Gina Powers nailed it?
Yeah.
Go, Gina.
So I don't know where she'd heard it before, but she got it.
Excellent. Yeah. And I was looking at it all day. I'm just like, just trying to sound it out. Now, Quaisian, that was the other one that really got me. I can finally say it. I keep practicing that. So Quaisian, love you, man. Need to get you back on here. All right, so let's see what happened to us last weekend with the old the old Uptown. Oh, that's why I always put the songs. I keep forgetting. In a couple weeks, we are opening up for Hairball. I believe that's a Friday night, January 28th at the Sanford Pentagon down in, I think it's Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So that's going to be a great night. What we got to do is play an hour set, but, it's for Hairball. I can't wait.
That's a fun show.
I have no idea what to expect.
Have you seen them?
I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, 80s rock, 80s pop. I like the Def Leppard stuff.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but they do Rat, another one of my favorite bands, and they do the costume changes.
I just see the costume changes for Twisted Sister and stuff, and I'm just like, I love it. Well, and Kiss. You always see those up there.
It's a production. It's a good show.
I know when Hat was here, he was talking about the pyrotechnics are going to be using and stuff. I'm like, what? You can still do that? But I can't wait to see what's actually going to happen here. It's going to be great. And also, we got the JoJo Mayer DVD is still up for grabs. So those of us that are drummers out there might be looking for a great DVD. It's one that myself and Mr. Nyblock basically bonded over at NDSU. Best Buy. I was at NDSU at the time. And what is all that beeping going on in the background? That's getting annoying.
That's the lines lighting up.
It's gotta be. But basically, Nyblock's favorite drummer of all time, and I gave out a bunch of stuff, left foot technique, blah, 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 jazz drummer, and all that other fun stuff. Last name starts with a W. I'm just going to give you one more. He played with the late and great John Coltrane. So I'll give you that one as well. That's as far as I'm going to go with that. So if you write that in the comments, you send it to us personally at Uptown Tonight Podcast at Gmail, whatever else. As soon as person gets the right guess, I will connect with you and get this DVD out to you any way I can possible. So we have that as well. All right, now let's get to our slides. This weekend, we got to go sideways, but basically we are going to a convention down in the cities for the Minnesota. It was the festivals convention or something similar to that. Basically, it's for all the county fairs and all that other fun stuff. So basically, we got to be a bunch of like circus freaks or zoo animals, and they all got to watch us play on little sets there. There's Brady getting all set up. See, he's all smiley. And then that was basically where we got to set up at. And then the gear that you see, like the big Marshall stuff, that's not ours. That was actually not players. God, I'm trying to remember the name of the band. We thought it was like REO Speedwagon, but people who like wrote with them and all that other fun stuff. Real legit guys. They're pretty cool to watch and everything else. They had the actual vintage gear and everything else that they used on there. Played it legitly. It was really cool to watch. But that was our weekend, so you can see that was behind the stage. and then the people, and I got a quick little video of the actual room, if I can get to it. The glare, die. So those are all the users watching. That's what we got to perform in front of, so that was pretty cool. And I also got a Mustang Minute update for you.
Nice.
So I'm going to take this bulb and I'm going to stick it on this side because we're going to start with simple first before we get into diving in and messing with all this happy horse shit. Disco. And it works. Nice. Alright, found the problem. They put these solderless joints on here and they are completely, you can even see that, freaking just gone. Okay, we redid all the ends. They're all tight and stuff. God dang it, we still got nothing. Okay, so I have my lead inside the wire and one connecting to the ground. And you can see our ohmages is basically nothing. Pull up the wire strippers! Gonna do the solder until the soldering's all done. New bulb in. Everything's connected. What do we got? Boom! Headlight. Alright. Mouse nest. Dead mouse. Ew! Yep, that fell out from inside.
Turn
it
on! Was that the cause of the headlight going out?
Not exactly. It was a ground wire that was going through
the fuel tank.
One of the little turnbuckle things.
Yeah.
And it just rubbed away enough on there, so it must have corroded during the time. I'm sure it was mouse pee was part of the problem as well.
Just age though.
Exactly. So you just had to bypass that, and I got a headlight again. So now we're on to the gas tank. We're gonna start see if we can get this thing fired up. It's gonna be awesome.
I miss the days when you could just plug in your headlights. You have just that bezel strap that you unscrewed, and then you just plug in the headlight, and it's a lot easier than what it is now.
Oh, exactly. One of the things that, like, now what they have is all those plastic clips on the back, and when you're doing that in 20, 30 below weather, are you afraid that something's just going to snap apart?
Oh, yeah,
and
absolutely.
Gosh, I know I hate that. But then again, I just work with junk stuff all the time, so I never had anything nice. So, Scott, how you been? How we doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, I guess working hard, but playing some gigs, surprisingly. You know, with Duly Noted. So
how long's Duly Noted been going on?
Really, since May. We haven't been going that long.
Since May, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was going on longer than that. But
yeah.
Okay.
I've known Dan Kaufman. I think I met him the first time in about 2009 at the Nestor.
At the Nasty Nestor.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
He was playing in a band that did video game soundtracks, covers.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
What band was that?
Harsh Star, they were called.
Harsh Star. Okay.
And it was a great concept.
That's very interesting.
Real shredding guitar parts. So.
Like doing the Doom soundtrack, or is it more like Mario Brothers?
It was probably like, I'm not much of a gamer. I think it probably got into some of the Sonic Hedgehog.
We're going back.
But I do think there were some, more modern. They probably did the Mortal Kombat theme and that sort of thing. I think that one was pretty rockin'. I like Sonic the Hedgehog though. That one had a good soundtrack.
Going back to old Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we met back then, and we've seen each other here and there since then.
Okay.
But yeah, we just didn't have a whole lot going on this spring, and everybody knows what has happened the past 2 years.
A little hard to avoid, but
to bands and stuff, and it just wasn't really in the front of my mind to start playing again. But yeah, Dan kind of messaged me, and he was like, well, do you want to try jamming, or we can see what happens? And yeah, that's basically how it happened. And we actually started writing a few songs, and we just figured it works best as just a guitar duo for the two of us, right now.
So everything you're doing is basically just original stuff, or are you playing covers as well?
We do quite a few covers, and I think that probably ends up being the majority of our show, but we're finding the originals that work for the show, and we try to bring them into the mix. Even if some of them don't make it to every show, we can usually throw a couple of them and kind of keep them in rotation.
Well, that's great. You guys plan on recording it all anytime?
We actually have. We released what's called self-titled on Spotify.
Oh, I did see that. I do have that posted below. Yes, sorry. It's been a few days since I've done all that.
Yeah, but that is our recording. I think it turned out pretty well, and we're trying to work on writing for a second one now.
Oh, excellent. So how many tracks you plan on doing there?
I think we're aiming for about 10.
10? Nice.
Yeah.
That's almost a full length.
Yeah, and we have about 3 that are almost ready to go and just have to keep working on it.
Cool. So just to pick your brain a little bit, what's the process that you go through when you're starting to like song write and stuff? Everyone comes or approaches it in a different angle. Just interested in how you do it.
Well, I'll just disclose something. Dan is a better songwriter than I am. So I'm like, here, Dan, write this song. No, I usually try to write kind of like a riff or something and a guitar line. It is acoustic, so there are a few things where just a cross-picking line or something like that, even a strumming pattern, can sometimes make the song. And so I'll try a few things. I'll record by myself. I'm like, here, this is just a 4-bar idea, and then I'll play it for Dan, and he'll maybe come up with another idea. What should the chord change be? And he's a good lyricist. I've tried to work on writing lyrics as well. There was a time when I was writing a lot of lyrics about 12 years ago, I'd say, and I haven't really been into it that much lately.
Digging up old material then, or
I'm trying to write just new.
Okay, going straight and fresh.
Yeah, and it's different from the stuff 12 years ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we've all grown up a little since then.
We all evolve. Some of us try not to, but we all evolve.
So it was something that wasn't really in the forefront of my mind to write songs even, but I think it's like, what, we'll see what happens. We'll try it, and I think it's gone pretty well. So we've laid down some tracks.
That's great. That's great. All right, so let's get to who Scott is, because, wow, this is kind of like one of the first times I've met you, Scott, and I have basically a blank slate here. So where'd you come from?
Well, I'm originally from Tioga, North Dakota.
Tioga. You have to educate me on where that's at. I know I've seen the sign, but that's all I
it's
can
the
tell
northwest corner of the state, so it's 80 miles west of Minot.
Jeez, okay. Yeah.
It's in Williams County.
So you're even north of not Dickinson.
Quite a ways.
Williston.
Yeah, slightly north of Williston, but mostly east. So it's between Williston and Minot.
So how'd you end up over here?
I came here.
East side.
I came here for college. Went to NDSU, and I think, when I started, I was going for civil engineering.
Okay.
And I think at the time I decided it wasn't for me. I switched to a math major actually in my third year. During my third year, now that I know more about what civil engineering is and what they do, I think it's like, I should have stuck it out. But it is, how long ago is it? It's close to 20 years ago. So I have to own what I have done since then, and I think it's mostly worked out. So, but that's what I came to college for, was civil engineering. It wasn't music. I decided I knew I didn't want to be a music major. And there are plenty of things that you can learn about playing music by being a music major. I think my mindset was, I love playing music too much to want to ruin it by going to class. And that may have been a flawed line of thinking.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
But I think it's like there are a lot of times I wish I would have taken more guitar lessons and that sort of thing, and learned the music theory. But I do feel like I've caught up with a lot of the theory just from experience.
Okay. Let's take you back a little bit. So Tioga, so you lived there your entire life until you moved to NDSU?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so did they have a school in Tioga, or was
Yeah,
it
it was a decent size school for that area. Obviously, it's a Class B school.
Yeah.
So I think during the time I was there, my class was about 34 or 35.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah, compared to a lot of towns around, it was a more central town. Wasn't the county seat, but, it was about a 1,200 person town.
That's still healthy.
Yeah.
That is healthy. Did you play any sports then when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, mostly when I was in my younger years, I feel like I was a pretty good basketball player when I was in like 5th and 6th grade. I think I was more of an enforcer, though. It might be kind of.
Oh, here we go.
It might
coming
be
out now.
It might be kind of surprising looking at me now, but I was trying to put the other players in the infirmary when I was in 6th grade. I was number 40, and I think I had a lot of the mannerisms of Bill Lambier, but it's kind of. People start hitting you back and you are like, oh, that's what happens. So, yeah, but I got a lot of fouls, fouled out a couple times. I was okay at shooting. But yeah, by 7th grade, I was kind of outsized on that. And I enjoyed basketball, but I went to track and then dropped that after 10th grade. So I mostly was in contest music. Like I would go to Bismarck or Minot had state music contests. So I did a lot of that, and that took up more of my time.
Oh, excellent. So basically you just kind of, I won't say gave up the athletics, but you just kind of stayed more on the arts side. That's like me and my twin brother. It's kind of how that worked out, is that we were up until about 8th grade, we were all just jock. And then he went off to be the jock and I went off to be the band geek. So what were you then? Like, what'd you play?
I was a trombone player.
Trombone.
And I'm getting
the first guess I was actually going to give, but
just how studious I am. I am getting back into playing trombone, but it might be kind of surprising to people who know me from playing guitar, but that is really where I learned most of my music theory, was playing trombone.
Oh, I bet. Is that all from like the jazz groups, or are you just
It was more classical.
Okay.
Yeah. I started getting into jazz a little bit my first year of college, and I was really out of my league with a lot of the NDSU players. Like Patrick Thiel was playing. He's really good. I don't know if you know him.
Yep, I know.
And my senior year, even there were some excellent trombone players in the state. There was one guy from Hettinger, Matt Nudell, and he was great. He ended up playing, I believe, with the President's Band. He moved to Washington, D.C. Nice. Excellent player. So I was out of my league with some of the other players in the state, but I'm getting back into it, and I have good tone, I would say. It's just my range needs a lot of work. But I enjoy it, and really I learned a lot from the band teacher, Nancy Olson. And yeah, I've talked about this before, not to you, but I've talked about this where Tioga was interesting because we had a really awesome band. We had an awesome marching band and concert band. It was classical or marching tunes, but it was, more classical. But anyway, Tioga is a lot of farm kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not saying anything disparaging about farm kids, but you don't think of classical music. And, sons and daughters of oil field people as well. And it was interesting because it was people who were too cool to care about art. But during that hour, when we had band, they cared. They wanted to be the best that they could be. And it was really interesting seeing what it became. during that hour that we were having band.
That's interesting. So basically, when you started band and all that, was that program already at that level, or was it growing into that level?
I would say it was, and it was kind of a legacy because our band teacher was the daughter of the previous band teacher, and he was also really excellent. His name was Cliff Grubb, related to some of the Grubbs around this area. But yeah, he was a really excellent band teacher, and he had played in some big bands, I guess, big band jazz in his younger days.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So everyone was just trying to keep that up. So basically, on trombone. So how did you end up getting onto a guitar at some point then? Was that just trying to woo the ladies there, or what were you doing?
I think it was like for the purest reasons of all. I think I just loved playing guitar. You know, I was too young to care about that, but I started playing when I was about just before I was 12. And I think it was slightly after I learned how to play trombone, started learning how to play trombone, but it was just slightly after. Now, to get into that, it was the pastor of my church who was probably the first person I was exposed to who did something beyond the strumming pattern, just a basic up-down strumming pattern. He would pick notes. He would do some basic cross-picking, and I thought he was just the best thing I'd ever heard. So I talked to his son, and I was like, he was in my class. I was like, how does your dad do all this? You know, and he didn't know, his son didn't know how to play guitar, but he drew out some chords for me. That's a picture I shared with you. But yeah, he drew out some chords, and he described, well, this is how you press the string down between the frets, and I didn't even know that, you know. I just thought you'd sort of put your finger over the string or something.
Well, we all gotta learn sometime. Yeah.
But yeah, I just took that and ran with it. And really, I think you might say it was probably a little bit of an image thing, but I was into drums. I had wanted to be a drummer, and then randomly switched horses midstream, and it was like the day before I was like, no, I'm going to be a trombone player.
Dodged the train on that one.
And I think it was also like the idea of, we'll say, being more out front of the stage, we'll say. And I don't know if I really ever wanted to be the lead singer so much, but it was like I would see CMT, like I would watch a lot of CMT, and that's where I learned a lot of guitar licks. I would just try to impersonate what they were doing on TV. And so I would see that, and it was just, I think the other reason I was drawn to guitar was my dad being a radio announcer. He owned a radio station, and he would point out people that he had heard, and you know how it is if you're around something long enough. He had been in radio since the early 70s. You get a little jaded. So if he would latch onto somebody who was playing guitar and really awesome at it, I would also take notice of that. He would be like, well, Chet Atkins, now that was an awesome guitar solo. Or Roy Clark was another one of his favorites. So
picking out the greats.
Vince Gill, you know, he would be like, man, that's a great song. So if he said a song was great or was going to be a number one hit, you know, it probably was going to be, because he had heard what made a song great, even though he's not actively playing music himself. He could hear what a great song was. So I think I latched on to the music through that.
All right, not to date you, is this pre-YouTube or post-YouTube?
It was definitely pre.
Okay, so I'm not gonna go any further than that. Make us feel old, but yeah, it's just amazing how we had to learn so much differently than how people are learning these days. And then after YouTube came about, it was just a few years into it, and I'm teaching private lessons. I'm just like, how did we live without this?
Well, and taping stuff off the radio. I most definitely did that. And
sit there for hours just waiting to hit that pause button.
I was starting to get into Napster. I guess one of my friends did have the original Napster. I don't think anything ever equaled. But yeah, certainly I had CDs, had a CD collection, and I, got into the country. I suppose I got into other styles later on. I really, really enjoyed this one show on public radio called Blues for the Night Owl. And I had never heard really anything like it before. And there was just this power to the music. And so I latched onto that style as well. And you find out later, years later, that a lot of the players of country are also excellent blues players. So
you can see that a lot of it's rooted in the blues. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And it doesn't have to be just one thing. I think being versatile is a good thing.
Yeah, I think so too. So that's one thing I enjoy most about in this band that I'm playing in now with Uptown is that we go from, what are we playing? The Killers all the way down to like Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, just that whole range in between. It's just it's fun. It's definitely a challenge.
Good variety band.
Yeah.
I was in that band for a minute, as you know. I was playing with Cito, and
I think you mentioned that.
And yeah, I feel bad that he was not here tonight, but I hope he gets well soon.
Your seat's open.
Yeah.
We do miss you, and I'm pushing buttons. I'm doing better than normal. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, so we're playing trombone, we're playing guitar all at the same time, going through high school and all that. When was your first gig?
Well, that is a little bit of a tough one as far as like paying gigs. That was more into my 20s, but
paying gigs.
Yeah.
You get paid?
That's about it.
I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
So played a lot of like church special music, that sort of thing. And also the other thing that was like a weekly thing in Tioga was there was this more senior gentleman who had been a football coach, I guess, but he was a guitar player as well. He would do something at the nursing home, and it would be a lot similar to what they do at the Troll Lounge, for example. It would be kind of a guitar circle. Everyone kind of takes a turn. There was a mandolin player. Of course, it was of the era that had accordions, so there were accordions. We have accordions up north instead of fiddles.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, a couple of the young kids were learning how to play fiddle as well. But yeah, it was like every week we would kind of get together and play for the people at the nursing home. So, of course, that wasn't a paid thing, but I would say I learned a few things about playing music with people from that.
Yeah, and also it feels so good giving back like that, too.
Yeah.
It's just fulfilling just being able to do that.
Yeah. And I guess as far as actual gigs, that would have been probably more like I did a couple of talent shows in college. But I really didn't start playing gigs until I was 22, and I first started with the Coachmen. So,
Coachmen.
Yeah. So Tommy Navarro was the band leader of the Coachmen, and I was going to jam sessions all the time during that time. When I was 22, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to join a band. I don't know how. I don't know what I have to do that, but I think I'm ready.
Just persistence. That gets you everywhere.
So yeah, like one of the main ones I went to early on was the Measures at the Fargo VFW. That was with Ron Kerber. Okay. And so he was gracious enough to listen to me being annoying and loud on the side of the stage. And I think I got a lot more economical with my guitar playing in the years since. But yeah, I didn't know a whole lot about guitar tone at the time, and didn't know how to compete with a full band with drum set and bass and all that. I had played in my room. You hear about bedroom tone, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of like drinking from a fire hose there. But the other one was the Teamsters Lounge with Tommy Navarro and the Coachmen. And And basically, I think I had gone to enough jam sessions by that time. This would have been probably April or May of 2005. And
okay, so a little history back there.
yeah. And I guess Tommy liked my playing, and he was like, well, if you want to sit in with us more, and, eventually invited me to join the band. I wanted to mention one other kind of jam session I went to more like when I was 18, 19, and it was Josh Hardy and the Garden Party. Do you remember them?
I remember Josh Hardy. Yes, I do. I'm just trying to remember where that was at.
The Tarantino is the coffee shop on Broadway. And,
yep. I remember it now. Yes.
And so
I don't think I ever knew the name.
Coming from a town of 1,200, it was a big adjustment. I mean, Fargo's not a huge city by any means, but it was a big adjustment for me coming from that town. And I think there were places in Tioga where I was like, well, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to play guitar, get the world by the tail kind of, Josh Hardy would usually have whoever wanted, up for a song or two. And I forgot the guy's name who was playing guitar with him, but he was Brian, I think, but he was a Strat player. Anyway, he just mopped the floor with me, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I thought I knew how to play, and I think I was pretty decent, but it was like playing live with a band. You haven't practiced until you've performed is kind of my philosophy that I adopted.
That is so true. So true. You think you have something down until you're standing on that stage, and all of a sudden you have to present. Then you know if you got it down or not.
Yeah, and I think my perception of Fargo and the Fargo music scene, I had my own perception being in Tioga. I was hearing about Johnny Lang, and some of my friends who were hearing me play guitar, they were like, you could do that too. And of course, we know there's only one Johnny Lang, and he was a really special performer, a real great performer, great guitar player, great voice. He just had the whole stage presence, even in his mid-teens. So he's like a special case for the Fargo scene. But I think a lot of guitar players who came from small towns kind of thought that would be the route, that would be kind of their trajectory as well. And of course, we all have our own trajectories. So I think Josh Hardy was kind of a holdover from the Johnny Lang era. I think he was kind of carrying that torch in a way.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a whole big scene that was around that it lingered for a while. It really did.
But, that goes back to my kind of like being a fan of the blues and stuff like that. That was really what I was into at the time. But that wasn't an official gig. It really started with the Coachman, and I just have to say, just the way Tommy accepted me into the band when I didn't deserve it, it really...
I bet you deserved it more than you think.
It really made me feel like family. I mean, he hung on to me through, just watching me learn the craft kind of. And,
that's awesome.
And it was really rewarding. Looking back, I really appreciated that time.
Yeah, having mentors like that are priceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are priceless.
I think I've gotten a lot of value playing with like older, more senior members of the scene, because they would teach you how to value your time, kind of. They're like, hey, you don't play for free, you play for the love of the music, but your time is worth something. And I had that mentorship. Not everybody does, but it was also how to play music. They would give me advice musically as well. It's like, hey, your tone is a little raucous there, dial it back this way. Just kind of give you some tips on how to set your amp and that sort of thing. And I didn't realize how much I was being taught during that time.
Oh, you're always honing your skills no matter what anyways. So, yeah, just having that great advice at the same time. is priceless. But I got a quick, stupid story about East versus Western North Dakota.
Yeah.
Is that I was in high school at this time, and we had to go to Bismarck for some reason. It was a friend of mine, and he was picking up something from one of their cousins' house or something like that. I might be screwing up like the actual location of it, but it was Bismarck. And we get there, and whatever friends that knew him, they all come out and just like, "Where are you guys from?" We're from Fargo. Eastern North Dakota? You guys must get laid every night.
Oh,
we
no.
just all went, what? You have the wrong idea what's going on over here.
Yeah, like based on what, right?
That was in high school. That was back then. Oh, my God. I just thought that was so funny. I still remember that to this day. So, yeah, in Eastern North Dakota, that's where everything's at.
And I thought Bismarck was a big city, too. I thought Minot was a big city.
They are.
Yeah.
They are to their points, yeah. When you live in those smaller towns, like you have the 1,000 people and below, and you get to those other ones that actually have like stoplights and stuff.
Yeah,
it gets a little
definitely. That's a big difference.
So, all right, so you're there. We're playing. So, okay, let's just bring you through the bands that you were starting with, or that you started with, and where did you like evolve from? You were with
It was the Coachman.
Coachman. I
Yeah.
keep wanting to say the Roosters.
Yeah,
for some
that's
reason.
excellent.
Coachman.
Excellent way to go about this. The Coachman, I suppose you could say Tommy Navarro retired from playing in the band. I've seen him play a couple gigs here and there, but yeah, he didn't want to do it every week anymore. And you know, he was of that age where he was like, I feel comfortable just calling it good there. And his son,
when was this? Like,
his son Mike was also in
circa
the
what
band
year?
too. As far as the retirement, that would have been it would have been around 2008, I want to say.
Okay.
So anyway, it was almost like a bunch of stuff happened all at once. I started going to the Red Raven jam session.
The Raven.
And they don't have that anymore as far as I know, but
It's
it was
unfortunate. I think it's starting to come back a little bit. You see more and more stuff coming out of there, and what's it, the Underground, I think it's called, where the Raven used to be.
I don't know what's there now. And they had the new direction there for a while.
That's what it was, a new direction.
And I that place closed, I believe. But the Raven had an open mic night. And so I started performing a lot, even if it was just an open mic night. I played a couple solo gigs there, some of my songwriting a little bit, from that era, but played a lot of covers as well with an electric guitar, which is kind of unusual. Usually you think of a solo with an acoustic guitar, but yeah, it was maybe a little unusual. Anyway, during that time, I met Joey Kuntz and Jeff Meyer. Actually, Jeff Meyer I met first, but he had this excellent song called That Guy, which had this, not to get too musically technical, but it had just this interesting chord change where it was A to D7 and then G to C7, kind of like over and over. And the harmonies. And yeah, really what happened was I showed up to open mic night one week and you would write your name on a list. And so I wrote my name and there were a couple other names and then there was the word tank on it. I was like, what's up with that? And so what that ended up being was, it was the Fillers, I guess. They had already named themselves, and the Forgotten Voices. They're all playing together. Apparently they would get tanked before the show, and then they would play open mic night. But yeah, I was just like, I had a friend with me at the time this particular week. And then, like, later on, I said to her, that crazy band we just saw, they're playing at the All-Star Bowl, and so I started following them, started learning their songs a little bit, and then I suppose it was a couple weeks later, because of the spirit of the thing, because it was a real welcoming thing. They invited me up on stage to play piano, I guess. So
that's awesome.
So I don't know if there weren't enough guitars to go around, but Jeff knew I played guitar, and I started hanging out with them and just kind of getting to know them, jamming with them, and eventually it was just over the course of a matter of weeks, I started playing shows at the Nestor with them, and that was a big center at the time of original music. So also during that time, during the end of the Coachman, it would have been maybe the last gig, but maybe it was the gig before the last gig. I knew it was coming, but I was kind of bummed out a little bit. I was like, well, what do I do now? Got to look for another band. I, of course, had the Fillers, but that was more an acoustic thing at the time. But yeah, I got to look for a band. Anyway, at the Teamsters Lounge, this one gentleman comes up to me and he said, hey, I like your guitar playing. There's this friend of mine who needs someone to fill in 2 weeks from now. Well, that ended up being Betty Does.
Pressure's on.
Yeah, that was Betty Does. And
wow.
And I hung on with them for a year. And yeah, you talk about an education. I didn't know that stuff could be that good musically. And you know, I had cut my teeth with the Coachman, and I felt like we were a fun band, and you know, we did the Roadhouse thing really well. But to actually do like the whole thing with like a stage production, and it might sound kind of silly to say, but like earbuds with a click track, and that isn't everybody's thing.
Not
but
silly here.
but I think it really helped our sound, and
it helps out a lot.
And yeah, that's another case where I really didn't realize at the time how much I was being taught. Like I thought I knew my guitar sound, and actually Todd, who was the band leader, sold me his amp. He's like, here, this is the amp for you. It ended up being, I don't know if you know Colin Blaine, but it ended up being his own, his old Mesa dual rectifier. And he's like, you need to pair that up with a Soldano 2x12 cab, and that's been, of course. And that's been my setup, you know, through all kinds of styles. It's surprisingly versatile. I can play country with it. I can play 80s rock with it. Not that I'm an 80s rock player,
but rectifier can do country, huh?
Yeah. Oh man,
I've only heard people try screaming through them. So
oh yeah, it has all kinds
awesome.
of vintage sounds, you know, and so yeah, he taught me a lot. Musically, he taught me like time feel, we'll say.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I tell people, you know, I wish I would have enjoyed that time more while it was happening, because it was so much fun, you know. And they were really excellent musicians. Like Lee Brown was a real great guitar player, and he really took me to school, you know, as far as like that rock style. I mean, he could just shred. And I don't believe I ever achieved the shred bag. I don't think that was ever something I could attain. You know, I
Shredding
think that
only impresses your friends.
I think that's something I have learned through the years is kind of like, it isn't this gunfighter thing. I think guitar players can be real bad about this Wild West gunfighter mentality, especially when we're in our 20s. And I'm the best in the world, and we refuse to hear anything else.
I really like that gunfire mentality.
Yeah,
yeah, that's basically what it is. Who's got the fastest fingers?
And now it's like, you know, and now I'm in my late 30s. I don't mind saying, you know, I feel like I can look back at that and say, well, he contributed this. This guitar player contributes this. You know, what can I contribute? Can I even attempt to do what he's doing without injuring myself? And that's a real thing. I mean, it's happened to me before. And it's like I realized, where I fit into the thing and kind of how you act professionally. If your boss, if the band leader says you're playing rhythm guitar, guess what? You're playing rhythm guitar, and that's okay. And I don't think that's detrimental thing. I think that's like, well, I'm
filling
gonna
in the gaps. Yeah,
I'm gonna
that's
be
where
the
all
best rhythm guitar player I can be. Then that's
where the soul comes from.
mentality you have to have.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's get to some photos here.
Yeah, this will bring back some memories.
Guest slide. So okay, we're starting with that one. That was one I pulled of you just because I really
Yeah,
liked it.
this was from a gig that I played with Joey Kuntz of the Fillers, and that was in Bakersfield.
Nice. I just love the beards because
Yeah.
I cannot grow one. I tried last week again because not Christensen. Sorry, Christian. Dan Brecky came in.
Oh yeah.
And he had just that thick old, just wilderness beard. And now I get jealous of that just again because I can't grow one. So I decided to give it another shot, and no, it didn't turn out. Kind of looked like that.
Yeah, this is that was the Fu Manchu era.
Exactly.
So that was a picture
here and there, but I mean it looks way grosser than that.
that was a picture with Betty Does, and that was at the Windbreak. That was at the Windbreak, I believe, and that was kind of like. What that band was. I mean, we did a lot of variety. It was a show. It was a production. We had women singers, and Todd would also sing some. But it was like we played just like these popular songs like Blondie or Madonna, that sort of thing, and Joan Jett. So that was it was not my musical style, but I had to really stretch to learn it. That was with the Fillers. That's when we had a gig at Elizabeth. They had a street dance there. I don't know if they still do it.
Didn't they used to have a venue out there at Elizabeth?
It was the Silver Dollar. I believe the Silver Dollar put on the street dance. There was some arrangement where the owner of the Silver Dollar was also the mayor of Elizabeth, I believe, at one time. So yeah, that was when we were starting to rock. I mean, the Fillers started out as a coffee shop band, and I think through my time in Betty Does, I kind of learned the sound that I wanted to hear, and it was just like, we just got to get a drummer. We got to have that full sound. Got to get a bass and a drummer, and it really completed it. Like the song ideas we had. The song ideas we had, I heard all that extra beat, that we didn't have. I could hear it in my mind.
Cool. Is that Telly now, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was really stubborn for a lot of years about only playing Telecasters. That's the same one.
It's quite all right.
So
what's the deal with this?
This is a fun picture. Yeah, this was, I don't know if whoever took the picture would just drop their phone as they were taking it, but it ended up being kind of cool. This was at the Sugar Room in Mankato, also with the Fillers. This would have been one of the first times, I believe, that we played in Mankato. It's kind of a road trip, and would have been about 2008, I believe. And so we had been together about a year, I guess. And
things are just starting to peak.
Man, it just doesn't make any sense how good that room sounded. It looked like an upside-down pirate ship. It was a tiny room. There's all this glass behind the stage. It should not sound good, but it was one of the best-sounding rooms, and I just had so much fun there. The audience was excellent. Even if there's only 20 people in the audience, it was like just, they were into it. So this is a picture of what I'm doing now, and I did realize in about 2010 that playing music wasn't keeping a roof over my head, and
you had to grow up. Oh, come on.
So yeah, I had quite a bit of experience working in a seed lab. That was my college job, at the North Dakota State Seed Department. Anyway, through that experience, I started working in seed processing. So this is soybean seeds. What's kind of funny about this picture is it was on CNBC, I believe. And I don't want to get into too much, media bashing or anything like that. I appreciate them putting the picture up, but you kind of have a different perspective as the guy in the picture. So the article was about how people in the soybean industry were losing their jobs, and North Dakota soybean industry is failing, and I was like, well, I'm working so much overtime I can't even take a day off. So I mean, clearly that's not true, at least not true for me. But I've been doing that job for 11 and a half years. So I think, yeah, I've taken it pretty seriously.
And my whole thing with media is every time I've been in there, I don't think they've spelled my name correctly. So. There we go. Telly again. Love it.
This is with Scotty G and the Follow Me. That was my own band, and I was the lead singer. I decided, if I'm going to continue performing, I need to learn how to sing better.
So you just threw yourself out front. And
yes.
Sink or swim, huh?
And it was a country band because that fits my range better. Of course, I'm not going to be singing any songs by Yes anytime soon.
Not many of us would be.
But this is a 3-piece band. So I think if I would have been able to keep that band together longer, we would have added another player, just because it is a little difficult to be a lead guitar player and also be a performer, like be a front person.
Oh, I can about imagine.
And
it's a lot of moving parts. And
especially when you're playing a 3-hour show. So we had a good time, though. I think we got something going there. We just folded, for a variety of reasons, but I'm still on good terms with those guys, and I thought they were really excellent players. Trevor Pearson was the drummer.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, great. And Luke Kuha was playing bass.
Kuha.
And he's very serious bass player. Yes. So, yeah.
I talked to him.
Yeah, like
I always love saying his last name. Kuha.
So you knew him?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it just
he goes from orchestra.
Yeah, he was at Moorhead, or he must have been at Concordia. I don't remember, but yeah, he took some classes at NDSU as well, but he was in the fillers at the end of the fillers. And
nice.
I guess one day playing in the fillers when I knew that band was about to end, the monitor conked out in such a way that I could only hear myself, Luke, and the drummer for the fillers, Andrew Clemenson. I could only hear us. And I was like, it still sounds pretty good. So, yeah, of course I had to get better at singing lead. And this is something I have to emphasize about my speaking voice. I don't think my speaking voice is what it once was. I think it is kind of wrecked, actually. I've caught pneumonia several times, and all the grain dust over the years. But I can sing that higher range at a volume that's not polite for conversation. It's just, this is what's comfortable for me when I'm talking. So, yeah, I mean, obviously my range is a little bit limited on the high end. I have no problem singing songs by someone like Alan Jackson, though. So there's a lot of the country songs that I can fit right into.
Beautiful. And then this, I'm just gathering this from one of your photos on your Facebook.
Yeah.
So I took a stab at it because I thought Cito would love this picture too, as he really likes this era Ford.
Yeah, he always commented on my pickup. So this is a 74.
74? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you were wanting to guess on that, but yeah, it is a 74. And
most muscle cars and stuff into the mid 70s through the 60s, I'm pretty good at, but pickups, I have no clue. I can just kind of tell what era it's from, and now it's 70s all I would have picked out.
And I really I saw this pickup in Tioga when I was 10 years old, and I feel like it's kind of an incredible story. So the guy who had it kept it in excellent shape. He was a farmer. I read in his obituary that he was a serious farmer, so I latched onto that. But he ended up passing away in 2004, and his wife was kind of selling everything off and moving to Texas. And I was back at home to work at the Amarada Hess gas plant for the summer, and I remember there was a for sale sign, and just everybody in the gas plant had taken it for a test drive. It seemed everyone was talking about it. Who's going to get the Fredrickson truck, and I remember taking it for a test drive, and I was like, yeah, this is it, and there was a lot of work to be done to it. The engine was covered in oil. There were a lot of problems with it early on, but anyway, I remember I was like, well, I should just sleep on it. And $800 was the price. It was a fair price in 2004 for that. Isn't that surprising?
100?
I mean, so many of them have been crushed out since then, but
those things, wow.
Yeah, but that was a fair price at the time. Anyway, I slept on it, and the next day I was just like freaking out at work. I was like, someone's going to get it before me.
Yeah, I get to be the same way.
And so, yeah, I ended up paying up later that afternoon, and I ended up with it, and it is kind of amazing. In the years since then, if you were ever to see this, you would be like, oh, that's Scotty G's truck, and I'm really proud of it.
That's beautiful. So what's under the hood then?
It's a 390.
Okay. Wow. Nice. So
yeah.
That manual?
It's an automatic.
Oh, too bad.
I can drive manual, but it's kind of I don't know if that setup was that common, manual with a 390, at least for a two-wheel.
Not. That'd be a lot of torque.
At least for a two-wheel drive. I don't think it was that common. But yeah, that is being restored right now. That's at
awesome.
That's in Lake Park. Okay. Actually, this picture was taken in Lake Park. That was the day I dropped it off. They were kind of laughing at me a little bit because I actually drove it there. They were like, usually people don't drive their restoration project. Usually it's on a trailer, but yeah, I drove it there.
That's all I'm worried about is getting her driving, and then we'll get the body work done. But no.
Yeah.
Highly respect that. That is beautiful. And then we got the old Troll Lounge.
And this is Duly Noted. So that is Dan Kaufman on the right of the picture.
And yours truly on the left.
Yes.
And I got some videos here of you guys, just little snippets of them. And you may laugh a little bit because I actually had to do some stupid stuff to actually get it to work. But I got it working. If I can figure out what I did to them. Oh, no wonder.
Yeah, that's Scotty G and the Follow Me. That's what we were doing.
Kuha then?
Yes.
I thought so.
That is Trevor Pearson.
There we
go. Yeah.
And then we got
this is the fillers. You see what a great showman Joey Kuntz is. Yeah, that was fun. That was kind of a contest that we won. I think there were 5 bands in the contest that were able to play a gig at the Monkey Bar at the Hub.
Oh,
So that's
there we
where that was. I think it was Robert Morast who used to write for the Forum, and I think he was kind of one of the MCs, or he was one of the people spearheading that. But yeah, that was real fun, and that was when we were starting to really rock. That was John Winter playing bass.
Oh, yep. He was part of the band at one point.
Yeah.
Behind the video credits to
Yes. Yeah, so that's kind of representative of what I call the Ozark harmony. And that is an Alan Jackson song, Midnight in Montgomery, but that's Duly Noted. Dan is singing lead on that. And I feel like through the years, my harmony singing has become pretty important as far as like what gets me hired back. I think a lot of times bands are like, well, we need someone to fill in here. Scotty G plays guitar. There's no one else in front of, there's usually someone in front of the line, before me these days. But yeah, like if there's no one else available, they're like, well, Scotty G knows these songs, so yeah, we'll get him to play guitar. What gets me hired back, hopefully, is my harmony singing.
Harmonies are becoming so important, and they're just it's I'm not gonna say it's a tough sell, but it's kind of like that. What's the best way to say it? I don't want to say it's a dying art, but it's definitely an art that's.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
why
just
it
not
would be
quite as prevalent out there as you'd think.
I think it really fills out the sound, and the way I learned how to sing harmony was in the church. I would say, like church hymns. There was a guy in my church growing up who would always sing the harmony line, so I think I probably learned it from him. He had a higher range, higher tenor than I do, but I learned the basic concept, and my brother and I have talked about this. He's a musician as well, but a lot of times, like, the simplest idea is the right idea. And the Ozark style harmony, if you can pardon me calling it, that, that's just a term I have, but that gets a little more into like the sevenths and the sliding notes, and it's its own thing. But most of the time you can get by with 1, a 3, or a 5 in your harmony parts. And yeah, not to get too technical, but
yes.
it's like you have a standard set of rules, and I've been doing it long enough that I can just hear it. I can just kind of jump right into it.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. But now we need to get to the weekly report here with our non-Cito. But I will play Cito for tonight. Good. So with that being said, we're going to tease this one thing.
Theme song?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot going. But we're going to tease us with this is the first guitar you ever bought for yourself. Not one that was given to you, one that you bought for yourself that you actually went out and looked for. So let's get on to this. Cito, where are you? All right, we still got that theme music going on in the background there, but look at here. Even our camera isn't working. So, out of town, we got the Laughing Sun Brewery. That's our favorite brewing station way out in Bismarck there. We have Natalie Ann and Randy Takes on Thursday the 20th. The Prairie Wranglers and the Shaky Calls will be there Friday, and Sugar Break on Saturday the 22nd. At the Sandbar, too, down in Detroit Lakes, Mike Morris be out there. Playing on Friday the 21st, and Arthur's Barn, October Road, rescheduled from last week, will be there this Friday the 21st. Remember, we're all my stuff is. Okay, and downtown Dempsey's open mic night with Gina Powers tomorrow night, and Fourth Wave will be playing on Friday night. They'll take the stage there. At the Aquarium, the Cryptics Wednesday. That's probably going on right now. Swing Low and Dose on Friday the 21st. And Tommy Goodroad and the Highway Birds with Mr. Meaner and Walker Ryder. So much fun stuff to say from the Aquarium. I love it. On Saturday the 22nd at the DCR, the DrumCon Wrath. It's open mic night on Thursday the 20th, and actually happening right now. Our friend Jay Stenerson is out there playing, probably right as we speak as well. So he's right there at the DrumCon Wrath. So if you're bored and you want something to do tonight, there you go. Go say hi to Jay and say hi from us. All right, Delta Urban 42, Kathy Brecking, the 42nd Street Jazz Band, Thursday night. If you're looking for some great jazz, that's the place to be. Let's see, this at the VFW this Thursday through Saturday, actually. Smith and Lovin, Six Gun Circus. Did I say Six Gun Circus?
Yeah,
it's a six-string circus. I'm going way back to an old band of mine, Six-String Circus. It's out there with Darren Lovin and all them. That'd be a great time. I got to get out to one of them one of these days. At the Fargo Brewing Company, Zach Thomas's album release with Brian Laurie this Saturday the 21st. And then the Side Street, the A&W Band will be there this Thursday, tomorrow on the 20th. Downtown at the M&J Saloon, we are playing. The Uptown is playing Saturday night at the M&J. So if you're looking for something to do on Saturday, come out and say hi. It'd be a great time. At least we won't try to disappoint you. And Specs, Twice as Hard will be there Friday and Saturday. It's great seeing music back at Specs again. Alibi, Stella's going on Friday. And Murphy's Pub, Tripwire's out there on Friday. Tripwire at the Murphy's Pub on Friday. And then our acoustic corner, there's a lot going on this week. So on Thursday, January 20th, Eric Longnecker will be at the 701. The A&W Band's at the Side Street. Mike Morris will be at J.C. Chumley's. On Friday the 21st, you have Chris and Gina at Tailgaters. And let's see, Randy, Natalie Ann will be at the Bar 9. Rick Adams will be at the Fargo Country Club. And on Saturday's a ton of acoustic going on. We got Randy, Natalie Ann will be at Tailgaters. Dan Christensen will be at the Swing Barrel. Rick Adams will be at J.C. Chumley's. Matt Ockery will be at the Silver Spike. Jim White at the Flying Pig Silver Dollar out in West Fargo. And then Lori Lane will be at the West Fargo VFW. And then we're going to go uptown. Let's see, at the Windbreak. Slamabama hits the stage Thursday and Friday this week. And then a Face for Radio at this Saturday at 22nd. Southtown Poorhouse up in Grand Forks. 2-week notice on Friday. And then Fourth Wave will be hitting the stage there on Saturday the 22nd. And at the Shooting Star Casino Monoma, and Jerry Schmidt will be there this Friday the 21st in the Mustang Lounge. And that is it for your weekly report.
Hey, just a little baby turtle. Look at him go.
Yeah, we miss you, Cito. So there we go. Ugh, I think I said that way too fast. I'm almost out of breath.
Sounded good.
So here we go. So let's see. First guitar you bought for yourself.
Well, I certainly remember. I still own it, technically. My brother has it in Tennessee right now.
Still in the family?
Yes.
That is awesome. Okay.
But I played it last time I was in Tennessee. It is an Arbor by Washburn. So it's an off-brand of Washburn that they had in the mid-'90s. I believe I bought it when I was 13. And I was working for my dad at the time. So I did have a little bit of spending money. At the time, I think it was like a $250 guitar, maybe. And, it wouldn't really be what I'm looking for now, but it certainly served me well throughout high school. And, last time I played it, the tuners were really getting sloppy because they're pretty cheap. It has a nice sound, though. And I remember thinking Washburn was a really great brand, and I think it was.
That's what I thought.
I think it was during that time. I'm not a huge fan of Washburn anymore, but at the time, I think they put out a few pretty good guitars, especially acoustically.
Cool. So I'm glad you like that. All right, so you ready for a little Juvenile Destruction?
Yeah, let's check it out. This is fun.
We got to get you some off the roof here.
Oh, man. PCB.
What could it be?
It is pretty good one.
It's a satisfying one. Came apart pretty nice.
Did it hit the car?
Yeah, it might have.
Oh. All right, fair enough. They don't last forever.
You're hired.
There she is. So that's this week's Off the Roof. Now, if you watched last week's, just a little plug for last week's, Dan Sulovitz, he was actually one of the guys from the original parties that we figured out how to be the Off the Roof guy. So,
Okay.
that's probably not the best way to explain it, but yeah, he was one of the originals on that. He was helping me throw junk off the roof way back in the day. So there we go, Off the Roof. So you got anything? Basically, we got to wrap this up. So you got anything good for the order here, or anything coming up?
Well, I guess I just received word that the DCR show for Friday Songwriter Showcase is a go. So,
Oh, is that this week?
yeah.
Oh man, I should have got that on the report.
Well, here it is now.
Yes.
But yeah,
so here we
there'll
go. Hot
there-
off the presses.
there will be several bands. There are several acts. Check out DCR. Check out their social media, and you'll find it. I actually can't remember who all is playing, but I think it's 4 or 5 acts.
Excellent.
So we'll be playing some of our original music with Duly Noted.
Beautiful. So that'll be this Friday
Yeah.
at the DCR.
Yeah, and
Around what time? What time's all that going to begin?
I believe that starts at 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't quote me on that. I've been wrong before, but I believe it's at 7. Check out DCR, and should be a good time.
And that reminds me, too, of all the times and dates and all that stuff. There's been a lot of cancellations, everything else. So make sure you do check your favorite band or venue locations before you head out to go see your favorite acts. Just to let you know, a lot of things have been changing up like in last minute, especially these past few weeks. So that's my thing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Duly Noted on Friday. Anything else coming up?
Well, we're a little bit quiet. I guess we have something coming up in May. We should have something coming up before then, but we played at the Troll Lounge recently. That was a lot of fun. I can talk about a few of the gigs we have played, but yeah, we're just kind of getting our thing going right at this time. And yeah, hoping to be a little bit busier in the summer. So
excellent. And all the links and stuff are down below. You can also find that on iTunes and Spotify, correct?
yeah, we have our album Duly Noted, self-titled, on Spotify. So I'm pretty proud of how it turned out.
Excellent. Go check that out. Have links down below. So remember, if your drummer has more charisma than your front man, your band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing
Unless
just
it's
fine.
the band with Levon Helm.
Until next time.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, just a little baby turtle. Look at him go.